Hey guys, I'm Layla. Welcome to raidlore Stories. Today's lore story is going to be for Walking Tomb Dreng. So now listen up. I did do his original lore story before, back when he was a fragment fusion champ. And basically they had him as kind of like a legend that was kind of like deep below the crypts of Night Revenants. So I'm curious how they have changed up his story. So let's check it out. As the Castellan of New Ark, it was Artarak's duty to guard the tunnels that radiated from the cult of Klett's headquarters. Those catacombs and crypts that extended like an ant warren beneath the ruins of the city. Assuming the station to be a safe and unchallenging one, Artarak had campaigned to secure it for himself and was proud of his grand new title. But all too quickly, he tired of his work. The monotony of patrolling crumbling corridors and watching over musty tombs became unbearable, and he longed to escape. But he knew that if he failed at his duties, he would be expelled from the cult and lose his chance for immortality. Spending his every moment with the dead sent Artarak's mind spinning, and he began to think of a way to escape this lot. Necromancers sometimes visited the tomb, and Artarak sought out one of the most skilled, offering her wealth he did not own in exchange for her services. Together they gathered body parts from the crypt, and using the dark magics of soul gems to subvert the ritual of soul transmission, they set about conjuring a creature to take Artarak's place. The result was a golem, a large, sewn-together corpse which took its life form from the fraction of Artarak's essence that he and the necromancer had buried within it. When the creature came to life and Artarak's soul was wrenched apart, Artarak screamed with agony, but his yearning for freedom was great, and he held fast as the grotesque creature rose. The golem was crude and lumbering, but it knew its purpose and obeyed Artarak's commands. Elated at his apparent success, Artarak departed Narbuk, leaving the creature to patrol the depths in his stead. He called his creation the Walking Tomb Dreng. Years passed, and Artarak reveled in his new life of freedom, but his sleep was haunted by visions of the tomb and tunnels of Narbuk, and he found himself perpetually cold, unable to warm himself with the heat of fire. There was no denying that his necromancy had not set him free at all, and he could still feel within him the part of his soul that still wandered the chilly catacombs. Castellan of Narbuk was his title. At Castle of Narbuk, he still remained. Artarak knew he must return to Narbuk to reclaim his soul fragment. He waited many long nights before finding a necromancer who reluctantly agreed to attempt a ritual to reclaim Artarak's soul. But the magic they produced was not great enough to overthrow the physical might of the Walking Tomb Dreng. As the sorcerer fled, the Walking Tomb Dreng muzzled Artarak in a hood of iron akin to it that it wore. Sensing the other part of its soul was close, the creature craved to be whole again. It strapped the struggling Night Revenant to an ancient elaborate chair and affixed it to its back. Then, finally content, the Tomb Dreng resumed its walking. Those few desperate souls who have reason to travel to Narbuk without the cult of Klett's consent tell dreadful tales of muffled, despairing screams, accompanied by the slow thumping of heavy footfalls, the scrape of armor against stone, and the flicker of flame. Artarak's horror at his imprisonment rings through the catacombs he was once custodian of, but his struggles are in vain, for his mind and soul remain fused with the dead thing he created. It pursues intruders relentlessly through the maze of cobweb chambers and dank, narrow passageways until it finds its mark with the great flaming swords it carries. Night Revenants talk of Artarak's fate with wariness, for his has become a cautionary tale within the cult, eternal proof that none but the soul shepherds should dare meddle with the magics of the soul gems or the rituals of transmutation. On occasion, the Walking Tomb Dreng will persuade to come forth and do battle alongside other Night Revenant or even other forces, while Artarak's howls for assistance from his former allies go unheeded. At battles close, however, the Walking Tomb Dreng always returns to Narbuk's frozen darkness and the duties for which it was created, to guard the cult's secrecies for eternity. Wow, guys, I thought this story was actually pretty good. All right, so this story actually explains this guy. So this one I do like. I feel like this story is so much better than the original story that they came up with. So this guy is the poor unfortunate soul who decided to create him using dark magic from the Night Revenant. And so now we know who this one is. Guys, drop some comments below what you think for the lore story for Walking Tomb Dreng. And thanks so much for watching.